Hello students, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. In today's video, we are going to discuss about recent rise in terror attacks that we have been witnessing in the Jammu region of the Jammu and Kashmir Union Territory. So, the question that is being raised in media and by the expert is Jammu becoming a new Kashmir? Because on the one hand, we are seeing decline in the terror-related incidents in the valley of Kashmir, while upsurge is being witnessed in the Jammu region. So, in this video, we are going to analyze that what is the reasons behind such a sudden uptick in the terror incidents in the Jammu and what can be the possible way forward for tackling this problem for the government of India. So, first of all, to give you the brief context in which we are discussing today's issue. So, very recently there has been an encounter in the Jammu and Kashmir's basically Jammu region, and in Jammu region we have the Doda district. So, it has laid bare the gaps that lies in the security infrastructure of a belt that saw long stretches of peace until the recent years. In this context, since 2021, if you look at the areas that is lying to the south of Pir Panjal range, basically it is the Pir Panjal range and you have the Great Himalayas between which the valley of Kashmir lies. So, you talk about the southern region of Pir Panjal range, including Punch region, Rajouri sector as well as the Jammu area. It has seen a surge in high intensity terror that has targeted both the security forces of India as well as the civilians themselves. So, India's adversaries have been actively abetting terrorism and encouraging proxy tanjeems, as a statement given by one of the veteran Army General, that is the proxy tanjeems here refer to giving rise to such terror groups which are having a similar objective, common objective. So, giving or encouraging the proxy tanjeems in this area even as the situation in the Kashmir valley is getting back to normal, especially after the abrogation of Article 370 and classification of Jammu Kashmir from a state into union territory. So, in this context, let us try to understand. But first, let us look at the major attacks incident and look at the numbers, how it has changed in past 3 years. So, we talk about the major attacks. If you look at the year 2022, 3 attacks occurred in Jammu region. In the following year of 2023, it increased to 6 attacks, and then in 3 attacks each in the Jammu region against security forces in 2022, same was in 2023. And if we talk about this year, that is 2024, still 5 more months have to go and already 6 major attacks have already happened here. If you look at the casualties, so significantly 6 security force personnel were martyred in separate attacks in 2022, and this number drastically increased to 21 last year, and this year 7 months almost have passed and the number stands there at 11. So, we have seen an uptick in the casualty of this military forces also. If you look at the militants, 5 militants have been killed in the region so far as the year 2024 is concerned. In 2023, this figure was 20, and in 2022, total 14 number of militants were killed. If you take a look at the civilian casualty, total 11 civilians have also lost their lives in the attack of year 2024. So, what could be the possible reason behind the increase in such attacks? Let us try to discuss them one by one. So, first factor that experts argue can be a complacency in counterinsurgency that is being witnessed in the Jammu region. And this we can understand from the fact that almost if we talk about Jammu region, the region was very much peaceful, as most of the terror activities, infiltration activities were concentrated in the region of Kashmir itself. So, the valley was more active and Jammu region was witnessing a lasting peace. Now, this is something that is undergoing change, but the complacency that crept in due to the lasting peace in Jammu region is something that might be attributed to this sudden rise in the cases. So, as far as the level of alertness of Indian military is concerned, Kashmir valley has remained higher both in terms of military preparedness and mental anticipation of likely militant actions. One other possible reason can be reduction in the troops. One other reason we can understand is in the terms of troop reduction. As you know, in year 2021 there was a heated exchange between India and Chinese army personnel, ITB personnel from Indian side, and Chinese People's Liberation Army, especially in the region of what we can call as the Galwan Valley. it is because of this region some of the troops were transferred from Jammu region to the line of actual control, that is working boundary between India and China that separates the Aksai Chin region. So, this might also have contributed in increased assertiveness and confidence of the terrorists that they can tackle this area and cause terror activity in that area. Third is increased area of responsibility. Obviously, as troops are redeployed from Jammu region toward the line of actual control, for each of the battalion that now remains in that region, their responsibility and the area of responsibility has increased, meaning they have to contribute to increased revisit time by every patrol. Around 4,000 to 5,000 troops mostly involved in counter duties were moved out of the area in 2021 as per the data shared by the government. So, this is something that we can understand might be one reason. Second factor that we can attribute is to the development that is happening along the international boundary between India and Pakistan, because as you know that red cliff line that was drawn after the partition of India and Pakistan as converted into an international boundary. Now, in this regard, it is the Western Command of Army which has jurisdiction along the international boundary, around the international boundary region, and the Western Command of Army does not generally engage itself within the counter terror operations, because as we have discussed, this region was largely peaceful and most of counter terror activities of Indian military was focused toward the Kashmir Valley. So, that is one of the region. Second is, if you look at the training and familiarization, because also since this region now is seeing higher number of incidences, even if additional troops are to be deployed in the region, they will need to be given extra additional training and they need to get familiarized themselves with the terrain, which is again a time taking which will take a lot of time, and obviously the terrorists and terror outfits are trying to take advantage of this. Third, if you look at the Jammu region itself, a new theatre of operations against security forces, this is something that experts argue is believe that they are having a kind of well planned strategy by militant outfits, and this is a planned strategy to keep the question of Jammu and Kashmir in the news, because in Kashmir Valley obviously the decline in the attacks have observed. And the other advantage this militant outfits are trying to get from this approach is now that Indian military will have to tackle three fronts at once. Obviously, the first we have discussed Kashmir region, it is seeing a kind of peaceful situation, restoration of peace, but still it is a volatile area. That means the concentration of Indian military is obviously going to be in Kashmir region still for certain period of time. Second, as we are having problems with China also along the line of actual control, as discussed before, some of the militaries battalions have been transferred and redeployed in that region. So, along the line of actual control around the region of Kashmir, especially along the line of control LOC, and third front that is opening up recently is in the Jammu. So, that will divide the effort of the Indian military, which will obviously weaken the response to certain extent, and that is what the militant outfit want to take advantage of. Last we can see obviously is along the international border, the infiltration is much more easier as compared to line of control, and that might have triggered them to utilize this gap as well, especially because a very dense forest lies in this region which militants can take advantage of as well. So, geographical advantage is there for them also. Apart from that, if we talk about it is the lack of human intelligence or adequate ground level intelligence that might have triggered a sudden upsurge in the terror incidents. So, it can be because of heavy dependency on technology, especially talk about the CIBMS program, that is Comprehensive Integrated Border Management System of India. It is relying more on technology such as satellite based data gathering, such as using ground based radar, surveillance systems, sensors and all that. So, that might have caused a reduced ground connect with the people who are residing in that area, who used to serve as a, we can say, a confidential informant for the Indian army, Indian military personnel in the past. And this lack of human intelligence is feeding the security something that is feeding security forces. This has been accepted not only by Indian military but also by the local Jammu and Kashmir police also. Thus, a dense forest cover, as we have discussed, as seen along a large part of international border, especially around the Kathua and Samba region of the region, is a area, a fertile area where infiltration is being observed toward Indian territory, and it is to these regions the infiltrators, terrorists are entering and then they are attacking in different regions of India. So, apart from this, motivational incentive is another factor that has come into play. Motivational incentive, especially related to promotion of SPOs to the constables, are on the back burner due to centralization of powers in the police. So, that might also have caused low motivation, low morale among the personnels, and that also compounded with the lack of human intelligence, lack of human connect, might have compounded the problems in the recent time in this particular area. And army believes that also the militants are able to attack more actively and more efficiently because now they are getting their hands on sophisticated equipments, and these involved night vision goggles which were not available to them earlier, and M4 rifles which they are able to gain from some of the sources. So, officials also said militants are bringing sophisticated equipments, and increased instances of narco terrorism also has increased the capability of this militant outfit. If we talk about narco terrorism, it is believed that their activities are funded by narco trafficking, and this is being done both by the people as well as by using the modern method of drones, and by involving themselves in the trafficking of illegal drugs, they are able to generate adequate funds, sufficient funds of money, and this they are then distributing and funding the terror groups and terror activities. Also, to prove this point, in recent times several drones transporting drugs, explosive and even weapons and money have been caught in the region by security forces in the last few years, especially between 2022 to 2024, and this is the precise time period in which we have seen the uptick in the cases in the Jammu region. And last we can talk about, obviously, the indirect support is being given to this terror outfit from the neighboring countries of Pakistan. So, this also can be considered as an extended part of Pakistan's proxy war. Now, it is believed that this attack that is now happening in the Jammu area and the attention being shifted from Kashmir region is nothing but a reactivation of an effective proxy war in the all of Jammu and Kashmir, notwithstanding the abrogation of Article 370. Thus, Pakistan still want to maintain their relevance, or more precisely we can say Pakistani military or ISI is still trying to maintain their relevance and keep elements in Kashmir equally motivated by supposed success in the Jammu region. And this is a very important key factor. Targeting of the impending assembly election is also one of the indirect objectives which they try to serve by increasing the number of violent activities, terror activities in this area. With Pakistan, as we know, the decision making is not centralized, it is not very clear, there is layers of strategic decision makers apart from the elected government itself, and that is what makes it more deadly, more dangerous, because it makes unpredictability and effective weapons in Pakistan's armor. So, these are the 5-6 major points that we can highlight, major regions that we can highlight behind the recent rise in the terror incidences. Now, what can be the way forward? What can be the government's response to that? So, response should be multi-pronged. It should be focusing first of all on diplomacy, because through the active diplomatic channel that India enjoys with Pakistan at bilateral as well as multilateral levels, it should try to convey a very clear message to Pakistan that any intention of again involving itself in the proxy war in the region of Jammu and Kashmir, as well as it should be attention should be sought from the international community as well, that such kind of actions will have obviously involved risks, and the reactivation of proxy war in Jammu and Kashmir will not go unnoticed. Second, politically also, government should conduct Lok Sabha elections in the valley, as there is need for early assembly elections also to take forward the ongoing integration of Jammu and Kashmir after the abrogation of Article 370. And last but not least, at the military front, obviously we should have a resolute response against all kind of terror activities, and in this case the turn around in the security situation awaits nothing but one big successful operation, as is believed by most of the notable army generals. And in this context, the use of technology as well as special operation groups intelligence capability must be fully exploited to have a resounding defeat to the terror elements trying to encourage violence in the Jammu region. And in conclusion, what we can say that obviously at tactical levels, Indian military should focused return to basics will stand units in good state. However, the media should also hold its forces and it should not try to pressure either the government or the military or the army to carry out actions very fast. And because the reason behind this, as believed by the expert, is that the counter proxy war is a game of patience and setbacks are inevitable, but successes are also inevitable. And in the long run, obviously, because of the benefits that Indian army enjoys in the organizational sense, obviously they will able to have successes against the militant and terror outfits in the Jammu region also, as we have witnessed in the region of Kashmir. So we just need to have patience and have a multi-pronged approach to defeat this nefarious acts of warfare that we are seeing in the Jammu region. So that is all about this particular video. I hope you understood overall the context in which we are discussing the today's issue. That is all for this particular video. Thank you very much.